Hey Nesters, welcome back to the channel. Today I am taking you antiquing. We are going to an antique store just to kind of look around. I don't often find a lot of stuff at the antique store. They tend to be a little bit overpriced in my opinion for reselling purposes. Sometimes I do pick some items up just to keep. But if I ever find a good deal, I definitely will pick it up to go ahead and resell. This little green elephant was one thing I did end up purchasing. And I have a lot of customers that enjoy elephants, so I thought that'd be a good one. The price was right. So on the bottom shelf, they actually had a really great deal on this vintage McCoy planter. They were only asking $6 for this. I don't know why I ended up putting it back. I might have seen a little crack on it or something. I thought these mugs were pretty adorable. I didn't purchase them either, but I thought that was just too cute. I really thought this fish candy dish was really neat. It had a cover with a fish finial on it as well. They were asking $30 for it, so there really was no room to make any money for that particular piece. There are a few listed on eBay that go for about that. I do like to try to find figurines because I do have a lot of customers that enjoy them. They're not super profitable, but I do like to include them in my live sales a lot that I have here on YouTube. So, I might make about $5 or $6 off one, but I still like to pick them up for my customers. I really like this blue glass whale paperweight. They were asking $4.50 for it. I don't typically see the whales. I do come across some blue, usually birds. I have recently came across a couple other animals in that, but the whale, that was the first time I've seen that. They did have several different owl figures up front here. They're asking $4 for this one. He had a nice look to him. I like the way it was painted, but it did have some scuffing on the chest. So that's the only reason why I'd set it back down. It was just too prominent in the front there. These divided candy dishes or nut dishes do really well, but they're asking $28, so that was a no-go for me. This is a beautiful Fenton button and daisy top hat. It's a little toothpick holder. They were asking $15 for it. I think they typically go for around $8 to maybe $10. So that was a little overpriced there. So I was pleasantly surprised at all the great vinyl they had in the store today. A lot of great classic rock and a lot of oldies. I tend to look for the compilations, like you'll see this one here, top hits of the 60s. This is what I like to grab for vinyl because almost every song is great, right? When it's a compilation, it's all the best hits. So that's usually what I'll look for. I do have some of my favorite bands that I'll also snag up if it's a good deal. And, I have a lot on CDs and I do have plenty of vinyl already, so you'll see me pass by some things I already have. I was happy when I saw the Best of Steve Miller. He's one of my favorite classic rock bands. This one only had a couple of songs that I really knew well on, so I ended up putting it back. I wasn't familiar with a lot of what was on there. Surprisingly, I thought I knew this band quite well. This band intrigued me. I never heard of the Honey Drippers before, but it looked like it'd be something I would be into. I did get home and I listened to Rockin' at Midnight. I kind of just looked them up. I didn't end up purchasing it, but they're kind of almost like a big swing kind of band, but they have a bit of that classic oldies rock and roll to them. Really neat sound. Okay, so this is the Steve Miller Band record I was looking for. I knew these songs. I used to have the CD. I might still have the CD with all of these songs on it. So I was very happy to find this. Unfortunately, after I skimmed through all of them, I checked the vinyl itself out and it was pretty scratched up, so I decided against getting it. So I'll still be on the lookout for that one. So I love the Charlie Daniels Band, but I already have that particular album. This one was an exciting find for me. It has one of my all-time favorite songs on it, No Sugar Tonight, and I turned it over and sure enough, it was located on this album, so very happy finding this. They had an array of old mason jars and insulators and some medicine bottles. I've actually seen those medicine bottles displayed in windowsills, and people will put taper candlesticks in them, and that looks really neat. It's not really my thing. I don't really get into that kind of stuff, but I did think that looked really cool. They had my favorite Billy Joel record here. I actually own one of these. I actually have two of those. I don't know how I end up with two, but it has my favorite song on it since I was a little kid, You May Be Right. One of the greatest songs I think of all time. It's just really fun. I know I don't focus on vinyl too much on my channel. I've shown it here and there, but if it's something that interests you, definitely go check out my friend Katie over at Vintage and Vinyl. She has a YouTube channel. She's a really sweet person. I think you guys will really enjoy her, so definitely go check out her channel and be sure to leave her a comment and tell her that Nicole over at Nesting Haven sent you over. One of my other favorite things to look for are children's albums. They just are really fun. I do have toddlers. I have a couple that they really enjoy, so I'm always checking out those as well. I try to find Christmas ones in particular, but they do like this kind of stuff. I did find this one. I like I said, compilations, and I really like the golden oldies that you would find if you went to a 1950s diner. I just kind of like that music. It was always my favorite as a little kid. Probably unusual, but I did always really enjoy that. This is another one I wanted to get, but I checked the vinyl over and it was pretty scratched up. It had Stagger Lee and 16 candles on it, two fantastic songs. I actually already have that Fog Hat record. I've seen them live in concert way after the fact, you know, the retired years. But it's a pretty good album. And this is the last one I purchased for the day. It has so many fantastic songs on it. Again, it's a compilation. It has Otis Redding's Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. We got Miss Aretha with Chain of Fools on this. And so many great ones. The Soul Man's on it as well. I think this one's going to be very fantastic to listen to. Moving on to some Jadeite now. They had quite the collection going on here. Of course, it was priced accordingly, so I did not purchase anything, but it was definitely fun to look at. I really love this rooster set here. They were asking $20 for that. So this is my idea of farmhouse decorating in the kitchen. I don't like so much the neutrals that have become popular the last few years, but I like vintage farmhouse and anything to do with like harvesting and gardening and definitely all the kind of kitschy Pyrex and things like that. But yeah, that's my type of farmhouse. That's what I like to decorate with. Check out this large hen-on nest in the back there. It did have at least one chip on the front that I had noticed. I think they were asking $35 for the hen-on nest. They did have some of these shakers. I do wonder if they're uranium glass. They do have that look to them, so they possibly could have been. This vendor had a ton of these little mini hen-on nests. They were really cute. I don't remember how much they were asking for them, but I kind of was wondering if they were vintage or not just because of the quantity she had, but maybe it was just something she had collected and decided to let go. This Jadeite measuring cup was so gorgeous. They were asking $13 for it, which is, you know, reasonable if you want to keep it for yourself. They also had this beautiful uranium, possibly measuring cup there. They were asking $12. All of her green glassware and jadeite was just so beautiful. I just had to show you guys. This next vendor was really cool. She had a lot of vintage egg cups. I'm really hoping that's not a no-no word on that canister there. I'm hoping that starts with a Z. I really thought this one was adorable. She caught my eye. She was nice and kitschy. They were asking $15. I'm not super familiar with egg cups and what they might be worth, so they may have been right on point. To me, it's not prices I was willing to pay, but definitely for a collector, probably would have been something that they would have been interested in. You guys know I love picking up these vintage pie plates with the recipes on it whenever I see them. They were asking $14 for this one, and it's one I have not come across before, the cheesecake. I believe the company Hankook put it out. They had some great Corningware Spice of Life pattern. I really enjoyed that one. And I got excited because on the bottom shelf, I saw a vintage Old Town Blue Pyrex shaker. They were only asking $7 for it. And I really was thinking, oh, I'd like to pay $7 for two of them. So I put it back. I don't see those too often, and I have been looking for them. So hindsight, I probably would have picked it up. But the thrifter in me is always looking for the best deal. So I was just kind of thinking, oh, maybe I can wait and hold off and find it in the wild at the thrift store for a little cheaper. So if it's still there the next time I go, I more than likely will snag that up. I thought this metal mousse bottle opener was really nice. It'd be great for a camp. This white mug here that's a little bit iridescent is the pattern Moon Glow put out by Federal. I have sold several of those before. I didn't happen to check the price on it that day, but you know, it's the antique mall, so probably was about retail. So one thing I like to collect are Pez dispensers. They had a basket filled with them. A lot of them were probably about early 2000s. I don't think there was any that were particularly old. I found a few Halloween ones that I have already picked up, had in my Halloween decor and packed away. So I won't be sharing with those with you at the end here, but I did pick up a few others that I will let you know at the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what kind of things you guys enjoy collecting. The little wooden animals in the front, I recently sold a couple months back a set of those. It actually came with a little table, and they're called party animals. If you're interested, check those out. They're really fun. They kind of all sit around this little table, and I think you can even find the little cups to go on the table with them. It's really cool. Me personally, I don't enjoy booths that are all packed in like this. It's really difficult to sift through. If it's a yard sale and you know the prices are going to be good, really cheap, it's kind of worth it to kind of sift through, but all the prices were really on point or even a little overpriced, and everything was kind of smushed in, so it was just a little overwhelming to sift through, but I glanced at it quickly. This vendor had two of these little metal pig statues. I thought they were really cute. The other one was in pink. So this was really fun to come across. This is a 1965 Pyrex promotional piece. The official name is Empire Scroll, but a lot of Pyrex people call it filigree because there was actually a different pattern Pyrex with the same exact name that was released in 1961. So that's kind of how we distinguish the two. If you're new to my channel, you will soon learn that I am on a mission to save the blue-billed goose, so I'm always trying to look out for pieces I can pick up to either keep for my own home or resell. This canister set, they were only asking $10 for, and I was checking them all over. I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with it? $10 for three, that's a fantastic deal. So the two smaller ones were really not that bad. There was some basic stains around the bottom that potentially could come off with some magic eraser. And then of course, once I get to the larger one, I pull off the lid and I just see this one ding, this little chip on that. And I'm like, that's not too bad. You know, there's some staining again where the white is. But then of course, when I pick it all the way up, there's this huge crack going down the side of it right there. So yeah. I did not end up picking it up. I kind of regret it because the other two were fine. So that is definitely something, if I go back, I probably will grab for $10. It actually was still a pretty great deal, even with the larger one being all messed up. They have this adorable Avon Snoopy mug from 1969. Peanut stuff and Snoopy items do tend to sell pretty well for me, so if I can get them for a great deal, I do usually snag those up. They had some tool painted metal trays down there. They were quite large, so not anything I would be willing to ship. I've always enjoyed these Coca-Cola wooden trays. Now they make for excellent display shelves. You can see it says Coca-Cola on the side there, and they tend to always be in this yellow color, but I've yet to pick one up. So that is going to wrap up this antique along with me. I'll share with you now all the items I did purchase today.